Yep, we're live. Okay, so let's check out the first thing we're going to do today. We left off with that image. We were asked to download some source files and put an image, and I got frustrated, and I just said, let's quit for today. So we're going to pick back up where we left off with on that. At slide number 13, and take a minute to fire up App Inventor if you don't have it already. I'll give like a minute for us to do that. Happy Thursday. That was us. Yeah, we'll get there. So I'll put up my App Inventor screen right now, because that's where we're going to be working. His name, is that what you're going to use? Alright, pick it. Pick it quickly. I do not want to leave you behind. Okay. So we have a screen. You have a nice little background color, and what we have on it is a canvas, an accelerometer, and this brand new thing, and image sprite. Image sprite is brand new. We've never worked with an image sprite before. You could find it in drawing and animation. It's the last thing in drawing and animation. It starts out as this little tiny kind of green thing that you can drag and float around on the canvas. So I'm going to demo what I meant by that smiley face thing. Not that one. So I'm going to pick this one. This is going to be my smiley face. So I click on the picture, and I will save image as, and it'll think for a bit. It's going to be called Happy Face. The format is going to be a JPEG, which is great, and it's going to be on my desktop. Okay, enter. There it is right there, happyface.jpg. Okay, so we got to actually put our happy face where this image sprite is. Okay, so at the bottom of the components column is this tiny little media section. And there's an upload file button in media. And that's where we're going to put the happy face. So select upload file, and then it'll have you choose a file to upload. It will have you choose a file to upload. And you will choose the happy face that you've saved from earlier. You just have to remember where you've saved it. Usually, it'll be in your downloads folder. If you got it from the internet, it will usually be in your downloads folder. So you select it, you open it, and it plops itself right there. No, I don't want to re-choose. Oh, now I canceled it. All right. So it'll plop itself right there, and you press OK, and it uploads, and you know it uploads because there it is in media. It doesn't show up yet. The picture doesn't show up yet, but it shows up in media as the name. So it's there. The last thing, you just got to change and set your image sprite to that picture. So there's a property for that in the right column, the properties column. About midway down, there's picture. There's something that says picture, and it starts off as none. You want to click on that, and it'll pop open the options you have for that picture. So it starts off as none, and you guys got to go to the picture that you want, happy face, and press OK. And once you do that, your picture will appear. Mine is massive. This is too big. This is way too big. So you will usually have to reset the height and the width. It's at automatic right now, and that's just not gonna work. So I'm gonna start off really small and work up. So I'm just gonna set 10 pixels and 10 pixels for the height and width. 10 for the height and 10 for the width. So I set mine 10 and 10, and it disappeared. It disappeared off the screen, probably because it's there, but it used to take up the whole screen. Now it takes up only a little bit, and it's taking up some little bit that's off the screen. So you just got to recenter it onto the screen. If you go back to the bottom of the properties, there's X and Y for it's the X and Y position of where the image is at. Just set that to 0 and 0, so that puts it in the middle, 0 and 0. And then it will come back to, 0, 0 is the top left corner of the screen. I would have thought it was the middle of the screen. But 0, 0 is the top left corner of the screen. So mine is there in the top left corner. It's really tiny, so I can do a little bit bigger than 10 pixels. Maybe I'll do 100. Yeah, 100 will be a little too big, but that's okay for now. Wow, there's so much white space around this one. I wonder how that's going to turn out in the app. We'll see. So take a minute to get your image up there, resize it if you need to. Cool, cool, cool. All right, let's move on from that. So there is our happy face. What we got going on next is rename the components so that you know what each component is for blocks view. That's something you want to do always. We don't have a lot of components, so that won't take very long. And some of them are kind of self-explanatory, but some aren't. So yeah, I think I renamed the image sprite to be happy face so that I knew what it was. And the accelerometer, that can just leave that as it is. I know what that is. And yeah, I was saying that'll work. So there actually isn't much renaming to do. So rename if you have to. 8 says add labels. Add labels to read the location of the sprite and the value reported by the accelerometer. Add labels to read the location of the sprite. Okay? So in the properties panel, rename the labels. Let's just find the labels. In the properties panel, rename the labels. Let's just find the labels. So I'm going to look for the labels for the sprite. It's not a heading. We have to add labels before we can name them. We haven't used a label before. You'll find a label in the user interface. You'll find a label in the user interface. And so we'll drag one out there. How many are we going to need? Add labels to read the location of the sprite and the value. So we'll need about 2, I think. Value reported by the accelerometer. So 2 labels. They will start off by saying text for label 1 and text for label 2. We don't know what's actually going to be in that, so we can leave that as now. But we actually want to, in components, give them a real name instead of just label 1, label 2. So we know that one of them is going to be the sprite label. I'm going to call it the happy label, the happy face label. I'm going to call it happy face label. And the other one's going to be the accelerometer label. Accelerometer is a hard word to spell. Accelerometer label. So we got happy face label and accelerometer label. Any questions? Anybody stuck? It's okay that they say text for label 1, text for label 2. Make sure they have a real name. All right. 9 says, map the width and height of the canvas. Notice the boxes X, Y, and Z in the happy image properties. Set a value for each to put the image in the middle of the screen. So take a look at this picture really quick. It's kind of strange. This X, Y, and Z. So we're used to having an X and a Y, but this tablet will also have a Z. And a third plane makes things three-dimensional. Obviously, this is a two-dimensional tablet, but it tries to simulate 3D, and it does that with the Z-plane. And what the Z-plane will do is it will make things bigger or smaller. It's just kind of like an enlargement. Because if something's coming at you, it's getting bigger to you. If it's going away from you, it's getting smaller. And so it wants us to put our face in the middle of the screen. We learned something when we were resizing that 0, 0 is not the middle of the screen. 0, 0 is the top left. So this X, Y, Z, if I did 0, 0 for X, Y, that actually brings my image to the top left. The face itself is kind of down towards the bottom, but my image is the whole green area. My image is the whole entire green area, and so the green area is the top left of the green area is hanging out at the top left of the screen, which is 0, 0. So you're going to have to kind of mess with it yourself to figure out where is the middle of the screen for your image. I gotta go to the right a little bit, so I'll do 100 for X. Oh, there we go. Wow, that was a lucky guess. And I'll just say negative 50 for Y, maybe. A little bit more, negative 60. That's about the middle. Make sure you are messing with the properties for your happy face image if you do not see the properties. So change the X and Y until you get it so that your image is in the middle of the screen. So keep doing that for about 1 more minute. I have a suspicion that a lot of our happy faces are not going to work the way we want them to, but we will cross that bridge when we get there. So just try to center it in the middle at this moment. So here it is. Mine's kind of floating in the middle-ish. It's kind of sinking a bit towards the bottom. It doesn't have to be in the exact middle. That's okay. But I think that was just more practice for you to understand how the XY coordinate plane works for this screen. All right, so we can move on from there. That was slide 16, step 9. We're finally going to actually do something with a block now. And so step 10, switch to blocks view. In step 11, click the accelerometer sensor component and drag this event handler. So we want when the accelerometer dot acceleration changed. We're going to want that block. So we got to go blocks and we got to find it. So we're in blocks. We're going to click on the accelerometer sensor because that's where we're going to find the block. And it's the very top one when the acceleration is changed. So in blocks view, we want a block for the accelerometer. So for the blocks, make sure to highlight the accelerometer and it will pop open all the blocks we could use with one. And we want this very top one when the acceleration is changed. We're looking for blocks view, so it's this top left button. Top right, I mean. We're just going to need the top one. We're going to put something on the inside of it in just a moment, but just make sure that you have it out there. Let's take a look at the variables it has right now. It has 3 different variables we could use: X accel, Y accel, and Z accel. So this block keeps track of how much you're accelerating in all directions of the plane. In the X direction, in the Y direction, and funny enough, in the Z direction. I think in the Z direction is if you take, how would you mimic a Z direction acceleration? I think that's if you take the tablet and you like shake it back and forth. Because remember, the Z plane is coming in and out of you. Okay. So we have that out there. Great, fantastic. On to 12 and 13. Click your accelerometer label and drag the set label text block into the event handler. Okay, so now we're going to actually go into the block for, whoa, where'd I go? We're going to go into the block for the label. So this is why we named our labels. We have 2 labels, but you now know which one is which because you've named them. And we want the, which one did we want? Set label dot text. So we want to set the text of the label. Set label dot background color. I'm going to show you something actually. So I'm going to drag this background color one out even though it's not what we want. Because these little options have arrows. Dot background color has an arrow. And if you click on that arrow, you can actually just change it to all the possibilities you could change. Background color, font size, height percent, blah, blah, blah. We want it to be text. So set the text of the label. So you don't even need to find the block specifically. If you have the right, as long as you have the right type, you can just click on this arrow and with the drop-down menu find which one you want to change. So you want to change the label text. And we're going to click that in. that wonderful clicking sound. Click. So we want to set the accelerometer label text. To what, though? Let's find out what. All right. Select the get block from the xAccel variable and drag it out to add to your set block. Okay, so we're going to get the x acceleration and set that to our label. So we're going to hover over this xAccel, and it gives us the options of how we could use that variable. We could either get it, or we could try to set it and change it. We just want to get it right now. We're not trying to change it. At this point, we have blocks now, so we have enough to test. And I'd like us to test. So once you got that all together, come grab a tablet and test it out. See what it looks like and see what it does. For those of you that have walked in late, this would be a good time to try and catch up. Ask your neighbor. I can support if needed. Again, I record these now and I put it on YouTube, so you can also catch up on your own time. As soon as somebody gets theirs on a tablet, call me over. I want to see what it does, how it works. Again, to get your project onto the tablet, you have to use the little Bumblebee AI companion on the tablet itself, and then in MIT App Inventor, you do connect AI companion. So you do connect, which is in the top, and select AI companion.
This is the test administration handbook.
Okay.
So you're supposed to like look over it.
Okay.
Yeah, for like when they take the test, because the AP was supposed to give it to everyone.
Oh.
But can you sign this?
Do we have a test coming up?
Mm-hmm.
Which one?
I don't know. She didn't tell me.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry if you need my screen. I'm scanning my QR code really quick. I'll fire it back. Whoa. That is so weird. Yeah, it should be, yeah. But look at our box. We're changing the label, and look what happens. Look what happens. What's happening to the label. And especially as you tilt your screen. while those of you are testing it out, if you walked in a little bit late, I want to show you how I organize these slideshows. So I chop up the days. So wherever we start for the day, I will put that day. So today on Friday, we started on slide 12. That's where we started today. And so we've done everything from slide 12, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and we're hanging out at 19 right now. So we've done 12 through 19. Okay, guys, can I see what yours? So that's not what your smiley face looks like on there, right? So what it's done, I think, is it's actually filled up this whole view. But it just doesn't show it on there. Yeah, because look how big this is. It's about that big. It's about how big the face is. And yours, well, let's see how big your green box is probably just as big. Yeah, the green box is just that big. So I think that's actually a pretty good size. You can if you want to. No, it's not. Alright, so hopefully you've had the chance to test yours out and or catch up if you've needed to. I want to point out a little discovery about how this works. So those of you that have fired it up will just see, I'll put up my designer view. We'll see kind of what you expect to see on the designer view. You've got a white canvas, our yellow's hanging out here. The text for label 1 still says that, but our text for label 2 is what we coded, and it changes. It's actually tracking the acceleration, and so that's why it's flying around, because I'm not holding the tablet perfectly still. So as you tilt it one way or another way, you'll actually see the numbers change in a positive or negative direction. So take note of which tilt is positive and which tilt is negative. And then the second thing is, my smiley face is not the same. Not even close. On here, it's nice and round. And on my tablet, it's all stretched out and crazy. That's because, and you all have to check your own smiley faces and see what's going on. Your smiley face on the tablet will take up this whole green box. So this green box stretches from the top to the bottom, And on the computer, for some reason it won't really recognize that, but on the tablet it will. So I was afraid at first because my green box was so much bigger on the outside that if I made it a square, then my thing would be, my smiley face would be way too small. It would be way too small. But it actually works out. So just take note that whatever size the green square is what space, Julio, that's too big. Okay, will be the space that your smiley face occupies. So we got a few minutes left. Oops, we got a few minutes left. And thank you. Time to do one more thing. All right, so we're going to skip this. Oh, we did test. 15 says test your app, and we did, and we tilted it. So that's great. Variables and arguments. I'm not going to go into that. And next is a vocab word, so I'm not going to go into that either. We're done. We're done for today. We're done for today. If you need to catch up, please catch up. If you need support with that, talk to your neighbor, or ask me. We got about 5 minutes left for you to catch up if you need to. Make sure you save your project right now. Oh, wait. Am I what? That I have updated to you or almost ready to get for that. Oh, I can stop our recording and upload it to YouTube. And you get a ton of subscribers. Become famous, quit this job. Stop.